And we are live, or we should be.
It looks good to me.
It definitely does. How's it going, guys? It's been a while. I haven't been uploading for around half a year now, 6 months, 5 months, somewhere around that. And yeah, I feel recharged. Oh, you having problems, Eric? Seems like Eric's having problems, but he'll figure it out.
I am here. Yeah, I'm good.
You are here. Okay, thank fuck for that. But I had time to recharge, think about some stuff because I was obviously very negative towards House of the Dragon season 2, and I didn't have fun anymore making content about the show. And so I took a little break, focused on a few important things for me personally, and now I'm back. And Greece and I want to do this monthly. We want to talk about some topics, all things Ice and Fire, pretty much. But we'll definitely heavily lean into book content more so than ever before. Today, that's going to be different. Today, I want to do a retrospective on House of the Dragon season 2, talk about the things that, have changed a little, or things that or how I look at the show now. Um, and also Duncan Egg is coming up later this year. So yeah, Eric, how's it going? I was yapping a lot now.
It's good. It was good. I was talking to my mom when the streams first started, so good timing. But
Well, hi, mom.
yeah, it's going good. It's going good.
Mm.
Just the usual stuff. I got a bit of a chuckle out of reading the description. Is a Song of Ice and Fire's future cooked?
I think it very much is in a lot
It
of
could
ways,
be.
and it could be,
Yep.
yeah.
We'll discuss it. I mean, also hi Tom. I just saw your chat, so I figured I'd acknowledge that. But yeah, Ricky, I'm excited to be here as usual,
Mm.
talking with you and all Song of Ice and Fire stuff.
Yeah. So what do you want to start with? House of the Dragon season 2 in retrospective, or Duncan Egg coming up?
Let's talk Dunkin' Egg. Figuring the last time that
Mm.
you were really talking, it was a lot of House of the Dragon. It was a lot of
Mm.
negatives. So let's start out on a little bit more of a positive note.
That's good. That's good. So apparently, Duncan X season 1 is gonna be airing in late summer or early fall. So I think probably around September. Um, and it's gonna be 6 episodes, which I think is great. It's, if anything, you gotta add stuff to make that work.
Yep.
Um, are you worried? Are you worried about Duncan Egg?
So I think I made like one or two videos on this, but especially after rereading the first novella, it is a bit worrying from the standpoint of the first novella is not. I mean, I'd say all the novellas aren't really that like big. If you think about like my book I have here in the background, given it has a lot of pictures in it, it's only around like 80-ish pages. It's not incredibly long.
Mm.
I do worry on the fact that they will have to make up, maybe not maybe make up, but they will have to fill in the gaps. So certain events that are happening that you could see, like kind of a Game of Thrones season 1 situation where, like, we have a Robert Cersei scene, which totally could have happened. It just doesn't happen in the books because it's POV focused.
Mm.
I think we'll have to add more of those kind of scenes, things that weren't specifically in the book but make sense to be there. And that's where a little of my worries come from, just based upon House of the Dragon has once again, like, kind of shattered my faith in HBO and stuff like that. But I will say I have a lot more faith in Dunk and Egg than I do House of the Dragon at this point. So I'm not. I'd say I'm like back to almost where I was for House of the Dragon season 1, where I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think I'd probably say I have a little bit more faith in Knight of the Seven Kingdoms just because of the source material.
Yeah, I mean the source material is so incredible. It would be a new low to fuck this source material up. I think
Yep.
it is, at least in my opinion, it's the best thing that George R. R. Martin has written in the world of Ice and Fire. And season 1 is just a very, it's a different feel. You can, that obviously makes it possible for you to really establish and look into Westeros. So I wouldn't be surprised if they really take their time early on with Sir Arlen and make that a whole episode and have them wander around King's Landing, maybe, establish where Dunk came from, and then have Arlen teach him, and then obviously it ends with okay, no spoilers today, but it ends with something that leads Dunk to move on, and now we have established him as the main character. I and this is going to be something for the future of the stream. We are definitely going to have when the show airs, we might have one or more people, actors, or cast and crew from Dunk and Egg on our show. And the stuff that I've heard so far about Dunk and Egg, which isn't a lot, but what I did hear that is coming straight from the set is pretty good. So the live jousting is going to be incredible, which obviously is needed. That's going to be the big spectacle thing towards the end there. But from what I have heard, that is just out of this world good. And yeah, apparently they have cast the perfect Arion. The perfect Arion. Who was described as a sorry for the bad words, but he was described as a proper cunt when I was talking to someone about this, which is obviously that's perfect because he is a proper cunt.
He's the Targaryen version of Joffrey.
Oh yeah, I mean,
well, except he's skilled. I'll give him his credit. He's skilled.
He can joust,
in terms of like jousting, and
he got his
like
face smashed in.
Sword fighting and stuff. He's not Joffrey level that bad, but
yeah, at least he's not a he's not a
same
weasel.
kind of personality type situation.
So we got a question by Tom Lindemann. Do you think they will specifically clarify or show if Sir Arlen actually knights Dunk? I hope they it stays ambiguous. That would be cool because it adds to him at Ashmok, at Ashford. That would just add to that whole thing, and it was in the teaser trailer already, right? The thing of where he signs up your name or the guy.
Yeah,
I think it would add to the whole thing about what it is to be an honorable man, and in Westeros that's very much connected to being a knight, and if he he maybe is not that, but he pretends to be one. That would be cool.
I personally think they should not tell us. I do think he wasn't knighted. I think it makes way more thematic sense. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how they go about doing that, given the fate of a certain character like Sir Arlen.
Yeah.
But I hope they don't. And if they, because I think it'd be great if, you look at the long run of the series, maybe by the end of it we have that clarified or something like that. Like maybe there's a flashback that like clarifies, throughout 3 or 4 seasons, however long the show could go on for, by the end of it, then you're like, oh, okay, this is what actually happened. We've been speculating on this for a while. Something like similar to like Jon's parentage, where it's like people all have their speculations, and then after a while, it's finally revealed.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I'm always a fan of show don't tell. Make and that is what makes this whole thing so it's immersive. And I hope that we are going to go back to complex storytelling, because very much we left that with Game of Thrones, and we kind of came back to that with House of the Dragon, and then they season 2, we'll talk about it later, but they went back to the usual thing of, oh my god, this is magic and this is that, and there's not much of it in Dunk and Egg. So I hope that that humanity, the human aspect, is the prime focus of the show, and it has to be, right, given where Egg ends up and how he deals with stuff and how he sort of carries himself. And yeah, I really, I, I, I really hope we are not looking at another White Walker vision thing, because
What do you mean? What do you mean?
there
What do
is
you mean? We're
there
getting
is the
it. We're
opportunity
getting it.
there.
We're getting it.
I mean, it's there, right? They're on. They're on the
Yep,
drunken.
it's clear right there.
And
Hell,
like
even
I
the
can
third
already
novella,
see
there's a
it.
chance.
I can already see it. Like it's like a fade out thing, and then we're looking at this ambiguous character at the bar, and he has his Targaryen hair is all over him, and but he can't really make out his face, and then he's dreaming, and we see the White Walkers, and oh my god, we have to save Westeros.
Oh,
Do you remember how bad the ending of our show was? Like that again.
oh, we should just not, just not.
So I just
And the
hope
fact
that we
that
leave that.
the thing is, you know what? If that does happen, at least we would know, because it'd be right at the beginning of the show. We would know what to be prepared for.
Yeah, that is true. Where it becomes like the primary focus again. Obviously not from the get go with Egg, but as he's progressing, as these characters are getting older, and I imagine at some point you gotta do time jumps and recast. If you go all the way to Summerhall, where it becomes his primary goal to bring back dragons so he can fight against the others, and where it's basically the same fucking thing again. But at least we'll
I have a
see
question
how.
for you, Ricky.
Hmm.
Do you think we'll see Aemon in season 1? Do you think we'll get maybe a flashback or something with like Egg or the kids, Maekar's kids? Do you think we'll see any of that?
I don't know if that's something for season 1.
I think it's more a season 2 thing because but I'd be interested, just because Aemon is kind of a fan favorite of the main
He
series. I don't
is.
know if they work something in there like that or not, but
He is,
be
but
cool.
only for the book people, right? And they are making the shows.
I don't know. I watched the early seasons of the show before, or I read the books, and I really love Mace Draymond. So
Oh yeah,
I
he's one of
don't
my
know.
favorite Targaryens. One of my favorite characters in the favorite minor characters in the series. But if you talk to, let's say, your friend Peter, and you and Peter occasionally talk about Game of Thrones, did you ever mention Aemon?
Well, I don't got no friends named Peter because sus name. You bring up a Littlefinger-esque name. I don't know about that one, Chief. But I don't know. I have one of my friends that I remember talking about Aemon a bit.
I think it
Maybe
would
that's because
be.
I brought it up, though.
I think Walder Frey would be like a tiny Walder Frey would be more likely.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can already see that happening. So what are you hoping for with Duncan Egg? What do you want to see? What if you could let's say you have 3 wishes for Duncan Egg, what do you want to have? What do you want to see?
So I want to see more of Maekar than we got in the first novella. I'd like to see a bit more of maybe his relationship with Baelor or his kids. Some of the and that could definitely be very feasible given that you're gonna need more stuff to pad out the runtime for 6 episodes anyway. I'd love to see that because he is one of my favorite Targaryens because he just reminds me of Stannis in so many ways. They have so many parallels. I'd like to see that. The second thing is I really hope that they don't get lost in trying to make the novella 6 episodes, that they start putting in a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense to the actual source material. I hope it is a somewhat of faithful adaptation, like kind of season 1 was to Game of Thrones. And the third one, I would say I'm excited to see the performance of Arion. I think those are probably my top 3 things that I'm looking forward to.
Again, he was described to me as like a proper cunt, and that's what I'm really hyped for that. Everything that has to do with Tanzel too, and that whole conflict, and then him getting his ass beat. Yeah, I hope.
You know what? Actually, Ricky, before you go, I'll throw in some I'll throw in some underrated ones as well. Excited to see the Fossilways
Yeah.
and the Laughing Storm as well. Those are some other ones. All right, go ahead, Ricky. What are you
Oh
looking
yeah.
forward to?
Laughing Storm. By the way, I am ready for live action antler helmets. I am
Hell
so
yeah.
ready to see that. We talked to the guy who plays Boris Baratheon in House of the Dragon, and we told him that we definitely need that for House of the Dragon whenever he shows up. I imagine in season 3. But I need it now, and such a badass look, just such a badass design. The famous artwork, that we've all shared. Yeah, in terms of adding stuff to Duncan Egg, I don't think it's that difficult. It shouldn't be too difficult to add things that are in line with what that novel stands for, the novella. Because you just have to focus more on these connections. You have to, do more with Arlen, do more with the Fossilways, do more with Arion. As you said, Maekar. It's stuff that we want to see. We don't have to throw in the White Walkers for the sake of having some CGI thing. And again, remember how bad the ending of our show was, kind of thing. Because it's weird at this point. It's so weird. Like, I talked to one of my friends, and he was a big Game of Thrones fan back in the day, and yeah, we were trying to figure out why they keep doing that, because nobody, or at least nobody I know personally, is fond of the ending, or the way Arya, the way in which Arya killed the Night King. So it's baffling that they keep coming back to this. So I hope this stays clear of everything that has to do with it. But I fear that we're at least gonna get a few nuggets, and that could very well be a vision by Daron. I don't give a fuck about that knife. Give Arion that knife, whatever. I don't care. You know what they're gonna do? Arion is gonna hold that knife to Tenzel's face. The exact same fucking knife. It's gonna be right at her face, and then Dunk comes in, and the camera focuses on that knife as he punches him down, and it's like, oh, do you remember that knife? Do you remember that knife? It's the knife that killed the Night King.
Guys, it's the knife.
It's so weird. Like, why are we keep coming back to this? Like, why are we always focusing on connecting this when it could be its own thing?
But here's what I don't even understand even more. The White Walkers, now that like how they ended, are not interesting antagonists whatsoever. Like, they're just basically the way the show set them up is they're a mindless group of zombies that's led by one dude, and then the dude dies. Like, there's nothing interesting to them at all. Like, all of that like mysteriousness to them that was built up throughout the entire show, like, there's nothing to any of that. None of that meant anything. So
yeah, there's no intrigue.
What's the point of continuously referencing them? They're not. We don't like them. They're just not good. It'd be different if it was like, oh yeah, we're constantly referencing Cersei, or we're constantly referencing Tywin, or because of these badass, villains or antagonists. But it's like the White Walkers,
billions, or the billions of years of history with Valyria and stuff, or in House of the Dragon, focusing on Corlys Velarion's fucking journeys all throughout the fucking planet. You could, if you want to do expositions, you do that, but man, yeah, they're gonna do it. They are gonna do it. I'm calling it now. Episode 3, or episode 2, more likely. I say episode 3 because spending 5 episodes at Ashford would be weird. Episode 3, we're gonna go into that bar. There he is, Daron. He's out of his mind, drunk. He's pretty much laying there, and he's kind of tweaking or whatever, and he's obviously having a bad dream and all of that. And it cuts to him having a vision about the White Walkers coming. And he wakes up, and Egg is like, "What's wrong?"
I'm seeing shit.
No, I'm seeing shit as well.
That's why I get drunk all the time. I'm getting PTSD to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Man,
You know, we saw another in House of the Dragon. How about we are gonna see the actual Night King in Duncan Egg, huh?
the Night King.
Yeah, the NK.
Oh yeah. And then we're gonna see Blood Raven's gonna pop up randomly, and he's gonna start being like, "Guys, gotta prepare. The
But
White Walkers are coming."
but instead of instead of 2 eyes, he has 3.
You know what? This could be the main plot line.
Yeah,
So
him
they
and
actually
his 3
lose
eyes.
the dagger. No. This is it. I got the whole plot. Ready?
Yeah.
So the reason. Oh, this is spoilers. I can't really say this, but let's just say there's going to be a MacGuffin in the knife. It's going to get lost, and Dunk might have to go on some adventures around Westeros to find the knife for Bloodhaven.
Oh yeah,
Change it up, the whole
he has
thing.
to go beyond the wall and bring that knife
Oh, yeah.
to Daemon.
Oh, you just
Blackfire
know.
the Sec-
You just know if we're going to the north, there's going to be all sorts of fuckery.
Oh yeah, season 4, right? The She-Wolves of Winterfell.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also, hi William, hi Ghost. How are you guys?
Yeah, Ghost says, yeah, just reread the fight at the fist of the first man. And man, the others are just a force to be reckoned with. Nah, in the show they're just mindless zombies that get wiped out when instantly. That get wiped out instantly, sorry. Yeah, I mean, you know, in the books it's a hive mind thing. It's more like it has a horror aspect to it, you know, it's more creepy, and they even have their own language that sounds like glass shattering and stuff. You can't really transfer that into a show. Not really, unless you're like Robert Eggers or something. But I don't know. I don't have a problem with the concept of a Night King character. I just don't think that concept is so interesting, especially given the way in which it ended, that you have to transfer it to each and every fucking show and shove it down our faces, our throats, and you know, do you remember how Arya came out of nowhere and yeeted the guy? Do you remember that? Like, she literally fucking came out of nowhere.
An Assassin's Creed move.
I remember when I first watched the behind the scenes footage, and they were so proud of that moment, and it was like, Rogie literally comes out of nowhere. Like, she's hanging on like on a thing, and then like she was, I don't know, 10 feet in the air. Give in to your anger. Join the dark side. Let the hate flow through you, yo. I am absolute cinema. Yeah, you're right. You're right. The chat is right. I mean, oh yeah. This is definitely sneak peek. If they fuck up Duncan Egg, holy fuck.
Oh, it's over, dude. It's gonna be my levels with Fire and Blood, with with the dance and House the Dragon. Especially
since, you know, season 2 I went in and I had a very open mind, and I liked the first 4 episodes. And I was in awe of what they were setting up with Daemon, and I like a lot of stuff, and I think they've done a really good job at setting the season up. But they've also managed to fuck it up within 2 episodes. And then the last episode of season 2 was just such a punch in the face that I'm now so, like, almost Darth Ricky. Almost, you know, paranoid. Because it's always that same thing, and season 2 of House of the Dragon feels so much like season 5 of Game of Thrones, where, you know, and I think I've said this before, but season 5 of Game of Thrones has the best portrayal of Stannis, but it also has, you know, it does so much damage for the later seasons. And House of the Dragon, it's the same, you know. In House of the Dragon, it's the same. It's Daemon you know, and I thought that was really interesting, you know, the focus in Harrenhal. And then it's just out of nowhere, yeah, here's a fuck ass vision. And oh, by the way, White Walkers, whatever. And I'm worried. And I have been called a shill to death. And you know what?
Chill and a hater. Don't get that mixed up. You got in both.
Yeah. It started out, you know, I was an HBO show, and then I became a hater and whatever. Yeah, it was also part of the reason why I was gone so long. It's just, ugh.
I mean, Ricky, it was so conflicting. I remember during our stream for the first episode when we were critiquing Blood and Cheese, we were getting called like overly critical and or like haters. So it wasn't just the very end of the season. It was anytime we even critiqued it early on. So
yeah. I mean, you know,
yeah, well,
I obviously made some tweets, and they got kind of viral because I got to see the episodes early, and then automatically our show, because obviously HBO somehow controls what I am saying. No, they didn't. I just had a lot of faith in something, and then I got disappointed. And now with Duncan Egg, I'm having a hard time trusting them, because it's happened twice now. And I don't know. You know, it's not looking good. It's not like they. It's not like they've done such an outstanding job that I have to, you know, that I don't have to worry. So for Duncan, I just focus on the small things and try to get them right. And then if you have to connect it to the other shows, then just throw in that stupid dagger and you know, just make us care about these two characters wandering around through Westeros. And then I don't care if you add, you know, you have this great spring sickness coming up. You could do a lot with that. What's a plague like in Westeros? That's very interesting to me. You know, what's the take? What's their take on that? And I mean, these characters are literally walking around the Seven Kingdoms, and they just stumble into these big historical events, and that's big enough for me. I don't need, you know, the CGI things popping up.
yeah, I agree.
Don't
100%.
worry, guys. We're getting Alicent and Yeti at the end of season 3. She will go on her redemption arc in season 4. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Alicent, absolutely not. Character's been butchered already. It's too late.
Yeah, I doubt that she can go to Yeti. She's busy destroying her family.
Yeah, we got to see at least another 3 more Rhaenyra Alicent scenes next season. So
I mean, now it makes sense. Now it absolutely makes sense. Now that's one of my biggest critiques. You know, you could have just waited. Like, these characters are going to meet up. So why are we, you know, or whatever. TV adaptations will always disappoint book fans. Just take them as separate canons. I see you. I hear
disagree.
You.
I disagree 100%.
I hear him. I know what he means. Like, there's a lot of good in House of the Dragon season 2. So let's switch to House of the Dragon season 2 now, because obviously I had a long you know, hiatus. I haven't been uploading for 5 months, and I had a lot of time to think about it. And obviously, I talked to my friends and people and stuff, and most of my friends didn't read Fire and Blood, and even though they've noticed the dip in quality as well, it's, you know, they're much more relaxed. If you expect, especially in this day and age, to watch something after you've read the novel, and you want it to be a faithful adaptation, I think you're just setting yourself up for disappointment one way or another. And so my way of dealing with that in the future is I'm not gonna review House of the Dragon. I might do obviously we're gonna do streams and talk about that, but I'm not gonna review it. I'm not gonna go, this scene is wrong for this and that reason, and that is that is stupid, and that it doesn't work like that, and whatever. I'm gonna talk about it with you, on stream, but I'm not gonna go maniac like havoc. Just oh yeah, this is stupid. That's not that doesn't work, and I'm not breaking it down anymore. Because that way you just set yourself up to for something that pisses you off, and then suddenly, because these two characters talk about something that is kind of meh, it drags the episode down, and then you try to be like a professional reviewer or something. I just want to be laid back and try to enjoy this as much as possible. So I definitely hear him. I 100% hear him about setting yourself up for disappointment and yeah.
See, I get that, but the reason I dislike House of the Dragon is not it doesn't have anything to do with their adaptation of Fire and Blood necessarily. Like season 1 was fairly different from Fire and Blood already. And that wasn't the reason that I had issues with the season. And I wasn't disappointed by season 1 whatsoever. I thought season 1 was a pretty good product. It had issues here and there, but the issues that I have with season 2 more stem from the show started breaking its own continuity and its own like you talked about. Like I do think like separating canons is a good idea. Like don't just, judge things because it's different from the book or whatever.
Hmm.
As long as it makes sense within the show, it's fine. Like that's why I think Fire and Blood, I agree with your point. Like it was disappointing in the show, but I never said that it was bad in the show because I thought it made good enough sense. Like it was good enough for the show that it was fine. It just could have been better.
Hmm.
I see. I don't like the argument of just, oh, it's always going to disappoint book fans because it's not the book. Like Harry
Hmm.
Potter, one of the biggest things of all time. People that are book fans still can really enjoy the movies. Like they weren't disappointed by like all of the movies. Maybe some of them, because some of them
Hmm.
aren't necessarily that great compared to the book. But like for instance, Order of the Phoenix, way better movie than book. And I
Hmm.
love the Harry Potter books. So
Hmm.
I get the point, but I don't think that always holds up necessarily. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think House of the Dragon's biggest problems are not adaptation problems. They are self-made problems.
Yeah.
Abandoned things. Like for season one, we talked about the Grandmaster conspiracy, and now for season two, we somehow continue talking about the White Walkers, and it's if you would have told me before House of the Dragon aired, like season one was a thing, that we would talk about the White Walkers in the context of the Dance of the Dragons, I would not have given a fuck. So it really is just how they handle things, and then obviously the big one is, but that is a big book thing again. That is a book thing. Is it's how green seeing works. You've at least partially, because we are just speculating on that, but we have an idea since we're waiting for 14 years now. We assume that we have an idea how everything works, or at least parts of it. But obviously, the way in which they depicted Helena's green seeing, that doesn't make sense in any way, and that is gonna piss off book fans. So it's a mixture. When I saw Helena entering Damon's vision from a random ass balcony, I keep saying that it was a random ass balcony without training, without guidance, without nothing. And you add that on with the nonsense that he is literally responsible for the death of her son. It's just, I don't know. It's a big no-no. And then now with House of the Dragon season 3 and season 4 supposedly only having 8 episodes, there's not going to be much time to make right that wrong, or to establish how she is that powerful, because she's more powerful than Bran in the books right now. So it is a thing of like, yeah, that's, you don't
But
have
I
to be
almost feel
faithful,
like,
but
yeah,
you
but
have
like
to make sense.
yeah, that's my big thing is like House of Dragon season 2 could have done that if it had somehow established how that was going to happen in the show, and then it would have been more acceptable. Now I don't know how you would have done that, but like it would have been acceptable. It's not necessarily because this isn't straight from the book. It isn't something like
Mm,
that. And Fire and Blood, a lot of Fire and Blood is you take it onto your own like idea of what you think
mm,
happened. Like yes, we get the general like okay, this happened. Well, who actually did that, or why was that motivated to occur, and all these different things.
mm,
So I don't, and like I get Three Eyed Monkey, I get what you mean. Like it's hard to fit everything from a novel into a screenplay, and that's just never like it's never gonna happen. You're never gonna just take a book and just transition it to like a movie or a TV show
you
and
can't.
have everything be the same. You can't do that. That's just not possible. But saying that that means that no matter what if you're a book fan of something, you're gonna be disappointed by a product. I just don't think that that necessarily always transitions. I don't think that's a correlation. Like, I think there's a lot of good examples of that, but I think there's also not great examples of that either. So, I don't know. Like for instance, Lord of the Rings trilogy, ton of praise by both book fans and people that just watched the movies. Like, that example right there kind of like disproves what you're saying. It's not a guaranteed, or it's not always.
Mm. I think if anything, for in the way in which Fire and Blood is written, it is easier to fit into a screenplay than a book series like A Song of Ice and Fire, where you have thousands and thousands of pages.
Yeah,
With Fire and Blood, you have plot points and bullet points that you can very
you have
much
more wiggle
fit
room.
into a screenplay. The way in which screenplays are written is very, it's it fits that whole. It fits with Fire and Blood more so than any other book. And with Duncan Egg, you have to add when you do 6 episodes. You have to add, and we'll see how that goes. We'll see. So it's now been 5 or 6 months since we've last talked about this. How do you feel about House of the Dragon season 2? Because I've seen a few of your videos and during my hiatus, but I haven't talked to you about it. Did you calm down? Did you
So
only get angrier? What happened?
I mean, I kind of did what you did for House of Dragon, to be honest. Like, I talked about it for about a month or so after it like finished, and then I haven't talked about it since really.
Hmm.
I have something I'm working on in the background, but I still feel relatively the same. Like, I just think it's pretty garbage. At least I think overall as a season, it's not garbage because there are good things in it, but the way it finishes
Hmm.
destroys a lot of the season and in the prior season as well. So I'm still like I'm not like angry because it's been time. Like I was more angry because it's like okay, it's basically it felt like to me again the betrayal of Game of Thrones all over again. It felt like that a second time, and it's with characters that I really enjoy from Fire and Blood, and so yeah, like to me, I don't think I've gotten any less pissed off at the show. I still basically hate the show for what it did. I think it's
Those are
some of
strong
the
words.
decisions some of the decisions that they made, I cannot fathom how they sat down and wrote these, and people make excuses for them all the time. It just drives me nuts.
Hmm.
Oh, the writers' strikes. Oh, they had 8 episodes. Oh, HBO wasn't funny. Okay, but I could have looked at this script one time and gone, "This is complete shit. Redo it." It's just so frustrating because they did all of the hard work, right? Like we talked about for the whole season, basically. Damon's arc is really good. It's a focus
Hmm.
on his character and developing him and taking him and making him a more complex character because season one he really wasn't that. He was just more of a
Yeah.
villain character for season one, or at least for the most part, and then transitioning it into the Greens conflict and all that. And then you just have simply, oh, well, here's how we're going to resolve his character arc. We're going to give him a vision that makes it where he's tied to fate. He didn't really grow much at all. We could have had this vision happen in episode 3, and nothing basically changes with Damon's entire character arc. And then he just goes back to Rhaenyra. It just felt like, okay, well, all this time now that we were in Harrenhal was for nothing. It didn't matter. The Alicent Rhaenyra stuff was pretty bad. Rhaenyra continues to be a pretty boring and one note character. Alicent's just makes no sense. for the most part. So I don't know. Your
It's
main
even
3 characters of the show, and I don't really particularly like any of them at this point. So
it's the same thing happened with Aemond, and I see no one or almost no one talking
yes,
about it. He
yeah,
went from crying about Luke's death to killing how many people was it, 1,000?
yep.
Just like that. Just like that. That is the character that I wanted to
Screen.
see. Don't get me wrong. That was what I wanted to see. That's why I like his character, because he is that evil. But since House of the Dragon took so much time and effort into building him into a more reasonable character and more complex, they added more complexity in the beginning. You can't just do a 180 because he saw a few dragons were getting claimed. You can't just do a 180 and just nuke a place. That doesn't make sense, not yet.
It's a major flipping point in his character as well. And we didn't see it either.
And it's like, that's something that we rarely ever talk about. But that even if you look at the smaller things, it's getting iffy.
Yeah, I mean, of all the major characters, like the only one I actually like is basically Aegon.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd say that. Never thought I'd say that, Mr. Green supporter in the background.
Look
even
at
like
you. Look at
I
you.
like
After
Bela.
pressing,
Wait,
after
I like
pressing me
Bela.
for
I like
so
Bela.
many
Wait, hold on. I
years.
like
Oh
Bela.
my god, yeah.
I like
I
Bela,
like
so I have
Bela. I
one-
like Bela. Yeah, now you gotta say, you're gotta be
I like
contrarian.
Horowitz when we see him every 4 episodes. But unfortunately, Aegon is my favorite character.
He is. He's so good. The actor is phenomenal. I mean, they all are. They're
all
the
great
great actors in House of the Dragon. They're all fantastic, from minor character to lead actors. They're all fantastic, and show is beautifully shot. And I think the pacing, for the most part, is pretty good. Not in a season. If you look at the whole season, it's not. But you don't. It doesn't drag. Like it was a main criticism for a lot of people that it dragged, but I don't think it did. It's just these decisions. These characters have to do something because the script says so. And yeah, Aegon the Magnanimous. Nobody cares about Bela. Oh, I already see you typing. Oh man,
That's treason. That's
treason
treason.
then.
What you suggest?
So yeah, I pretty much feel the same way. I went on hiatus, didn't think much about the show, and whenever I did, and this is the sad part, because I think you can McCavity from Twitter, Max, a friend of mine, mentioned it to me just the other day. You can see my enthusiasm die over each and every review and thing that I did on here. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, I was so happy. I was so hyped for the show coming back, and being immersed in this whole thing. And it's always an experience, even if it's even for the later seasons of Game of Thrones. I feel like it was just such a cultural thing. We all watched this together. We all talked about it, and I wanted House of the Dragon to be the same, but it just scared me away. Whenever I see people talking about the show now, like McCavity, and he has brilliant ideas. He really does. I'm like, yeah, but the stuff that you suggest is better than what they're capable of doing now, especially with 8 episodes. How many battles do we have to cut to even get to the end in the next 16 episodes? Or how much of the complexity, or when will it even end? Are we even going to see the Hour of the Wolf? I don't know. Stuff like that. How many more White Walker scenes do I have to endure? When is the Night King gonna show up?
More.
Jeez. Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say is yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that on Twitter, or X, I should say. Most of the discussion around House of the Dragon, it just infuriates me. It really
There's
infuriates.
a
I
really
don't know.
I don't know if you know this, but I have a tip for you. Are you ready?
Yep.
There's a button. You just have to click on the person's profile. You just click
It's too many
that
buttons.
button. That either
That's a lot of
mute
work.
or block.
No, Ricky,
It's
here's the problem. Here's the problem, because there's too many. There's too many. It's like all I see on there is Rhaenyra and Alicent, and oh my god, we gotta see more of their relationship and their whatever nonsense, or it's like
Let them have
praising
it.
Daemon and Rhaenyra.
But realistically though, let them have it because those are probably
I know.
teenage girls that watch the show for just different reasons than other people do. So let them have it. And I think there is something
I
there.
know.
I
I
mean,
don't hate on it, but
they
I
had
know it's
Rhaenyra
so.
kiss Miss Arya, and I think even on season 1 the foundation was there. So let them have it. I don't think that's a bad thing. But the more mental side, where it's just like I don't know, where they go after the actors. I see that all the time, where they go after Olivia Cook. Like someone that this was fucking crazy to me. Someone I think Olivia was cast in something, and somebody quoted that and said, "And who is gonna do the acting? Are you fucking stupid?" That's undeniable that those are phenomenal actors, right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole war. Like, I'm team Alicent and I'm team Rhaenyra, and now we have to, almost like the Daenerys and Sansa thing back with Game of Thrones. I feel like this is just belongs on Tumblr. It's because if you say nonsense like Olivia Cook is not a good actor, then I just immediately don't want to even listen to your
She's
bullshit.
fantastic.
And that's what the block button is for. Anytime I see one of those opinions, I just click the funny button.
I will say, I want to throw this out there because I think it's something that's not talked about. I don't know what the fascination is between Daemon and Rhaenyra. I don't know if people forget that he literally groomed her, but that's weird. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
Yeah.
Little weird. Little weird. But you're right.
It is. It is. It's like almost.
Oh, here we go.
The Rhaegar and Lyanna thing, seeing that as a romantic thing or whatever, is just crazy to me. Like the whole idea of that being romantic, like a fucking 50-year-old boomer. Nah. It's but let's not get into that, because that's a whole other thing, and there are people out there who think that's normal, or but not to throw shade on any weird people out there. We have
moving
moving
on. Wait, hold on, Ricky. We have to address this first. Willem says, "Team Small Folk all the way."
Yeah,
you just outed yourself as a Green supporter.
Nah, that's the correct. That's the correct fucking opinion. I agree your opinion.
It is,
but it's wrong.
I like. See, it's the right one, but it's not the fun one.
Yeah, I mean, Team Riverlands, you always have a blast. What the fuck?
Dude, the comedic timing is as I go to swallow water, you say Team Riverland.
Jesus. That went straight into the camera.
Oh, that was a good
Am I wrong though? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Riverlanders have the best of it. Always have a blast.
That's got to get clipped.
They have.
Well,
Fun Leroy asks, "What is your most controversial take on House of the Dragon?" The most controversial one. What's? I'll let you start.
Controversial take. That Rhaenys isn't a. I don't know if this is controversial. That Rhaenys is not a very good character in the show. Anyway,
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think if it. I don't know if it's my most controversial one, but I totally agree. I made a whole video on that too.
All right, Ricky, you continue. I gotta get a paper towel.
Oh yeah. we ruined him. We destroyed him. So my most controversial take about House of the Dragon. Huh. Well, I don't give a fuck about the dragons. I really don't. Like it's cool, fun, great to look at, but I really don't care. So from the get go, a show about about the Dance of the Dragons was never really, it never really did much for me. I'd much rather see a show about Jaehaerys' reign because that's my favorite part from Fire and Blood. So I think, yeah, I don't care about the dragons. It's cool to look at, obviously visually stunning and all, but I was never really there for Godzilla things, CGI on the screen, and them killing each other. That's why I'm so, not. How do I say this? I'm happy that Duncan Egg gets made. It's literally like my dream adaptation, but I'm worried about it. But it is the reason why I want to see shows like Duncan Egg. I'm there for human characters interacting with each other. Yeah. Ghost T says, "Yeah, Ricky, before season 2 aired, I was watching your interviews with some of the cast from House of the Dragon, and you were way more enthusiastic about season 2. Yeah, but I'd love to keep doing that in whatever way, because for one, I make my own films, and it's just very interesting to get a little talk to people who are in the industry and are just a whole different world out there, and I'm just wanting to know like the behind the scenes things and stuff. But they're just great people for like each and every one I've talked to. They're just amazing people. Like the I keep forgetting his name, such an asshole, but the guy who plays Boris Braffin, like we talked for an hour. He was ready to go for more. Or Max Rotzley, who plays Sir Laurent Marbrand. Is just such a phenomenal guy, and they themselves are so enthusiastic that it's just it's yeah, you can't help but be enthusiastic yourself if you talk to them. So I definitely want to keep doing that. I don't know how that'll go, since I've been very much vocal about this whole thing, but I don't care. I'm gonna always speak my mind. You good there, Eric? I went on a whole yapping session.
Don't mind me. I was cleaning the whole setup. I somehow like got water like all the way past my setup and like right next to like where my light comes. That was crazy. What? Yeah, I agree though. I agree with what you were saying. I agree.
So
I think
you listened to my yapping session.
Yeah, I was listening to your yapping. You didn't mention your Olivia Cook relationship. You didn't mention that one.
What relationship?
Your secret relationship that you didn't tell your audience. There was a time where Ricky and Olivia Cook, they were a thing, right, Ricky?
Yeah, I saw it. It was real to me in the vision. You saw it in the fire, right? That kind of thing.
Every time I go to drink now, I'm just waiting for your comedic punchline, and I hear I got it in a vision.
I saw it in a dream. Ooh, got a buck from Tactical Tit. Thank you. It's my cousin.
Hello, Ricky's cousin.
Hello. Man. So, but you are probably pretty hyped for Supergirl, huh?
Hell yeah. The one true queen, Millie's going to be in it. You got to be hyped. And I'm not even a DC person. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be good. I don't know.
So I've never really
about the Supergirl character at all, but
I just wanted to ask, is that literally just, Superman as a girl, or is it in canon thing where, Superman and Supergirl exist in the same universe? Because I have no idea.
My extent of the knowledge of Supergirl is the old, like, I think they had an old Supergirl show.
Hmm.
That's the extent of my knowledge of it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
Thank you for stopping in, Willem.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate you.
See you around, man. Willem the friend.
We need a friend in these dark times.
Willem the friend. It's the evil cousin of Willem Dafoe.
That's right.
Hmm. Willem Blackwood
Maybe.
was right there. So yeah, before we might wrap this up. I'm always, don't really have a length, or I don't really have um a forum in which these live streams are gonna go down. But we're definitely gonna do more book content than ever before. Like I actually want to talk actual book stuff now. Because it's been ages. I've been on Instagram since 2014, and that's where I had most of my conversations. And I at some point I just got really tired of it, because at some point you've just talked about everything. You just did. Who wrote the pink letter, and who
Yep.
when and how is Danny gonna come back, and what's up in Skagos and whatever.
And
But
you
I've
go back
never
and
talked
update.
to we did a series on who dies in the Winds of Winter, but we never
Yep.
really got into the nitty gritty of what's actually going down apart from that. So I'd love to do that. More
That's
deep
right. I
lore,
agree.
more cool stuff, more yeah.
So Ricky, did you want to discuss, Winds of Winter, George R. R. Martin's progress on that at all, or
I mean, is there something to talk about?
I don't know, just an update for our general future of A Song of Ice and Fire stuff?
I mean, my opinion on that hasn't changed. I did a 3-part series on why the Winds of Winter isn't out yet, on why I think where the problems are, in my opinion, and how he could release it. It's a 3-part series, and I still stand behind everything I said there. I think that eventually we're gonna get that book. But in terms of the whole series getting finished, man, I don't have any hopes whatsoever. And with each year, I accept it more and more. Like, I'm not one of those types who, like, there's an update and then I gotta set up this mic and yell into the camera about how much of a lazy man George is. And that's the lucrative thing. Like, if you make a number one tip, if you ever want to do like in the Song of Ice and Fire channel, just make a video about George R. R. Martin and Winds of Winter not being done yet. Do like a 10-minute video and talk about the same thing over and over again. Upload it, and you get at least 20k views in your setup. That's the attractive thing. And now you could repeat that every time some bullshit article comes out, and you're like, oh yeah. Now this is something new. We definitely have to fucking talk about that. It's like, no.
Or every single leak, even if it's true or not true.
Yeah.
No basis in fact.
Yeah. Like there was something not too long ago where people were like, yeah, oh, I it's coming. I've heard it. I saw it in a dream. I saw it in Helena's vision. She came to me and she was like, you know your part. And I had to make a YouTube video about it, claiming that I know when Winds is gonna drop. I was like, sorry if I come across like a cunt now, but is there much to talk about in terms of Winds of Winter and good old 2025? I don't think.
Not particularly. I mean, do you think that he could split the book? Do you think that?
I mean, he should, because let's not pretend that he can finish A Song of Ice and Fire in 2 more books. But then again, that is what caused some problems, because he split before, and even with Dance, he had like, how many pages were there that are left over that he had?
I don't remember. There was a good amount.
good amount of pages that didn't make it into the dance that then got pushed to wins. Excuse me, and that didn't really help. So I think
No,
he should come to a natural conclusion with this book, and however long it is, release it as like a two-part, like a two-volume thing, but don't let's not, I don't know, introduce a time for wolves as the thing between Winds and Dream. Um, because I don't think that it helps him in any way. Because if you have a natural conclusion of your book, and I'm just assuming here, if you have a natural conclusion of your book in mind, and you don't get to have that as a natural conclusion, you push it towards the beginning of your next book, it's still, that's not what you wanted, and now you have to come up with things for the middle, and it's not the typical
agreed.
3-part structure, the 3-act
Yeah, it
structure
throws off your
anymore.
structure. It hurts your previous book. Like one of the biggest things that Dance struggles with is it doesn't come to a natural conclusion
Hmm.
for some of its plots, like others do, but some of the other ones don't. Like you get Barristan very end of the book, and then you think it's leading up to something. Like the Marine plot's been building up to something the whole time, and then it's just like, no, we're setting up for a battle, but it's not actually going to happen. And
Yeah.
Stannis, the end of his plots, basically, Theon shows up at his camp. That's basically the end of his. Like it doesn't feel like, okay, this is naturally where plotline should have ended. Where like
Yeah.
if you look at previous books like Storm or Clash or even Game of Thrones, like it's never like that. So I don't know. Just don't think it's a great thing in general.
Ghost T says, George, please don't introduce any more major characters. I feel like that's why it's taking him so long to finish all these additions of unnecessary characters. It adds more to the lore, but still, I think in terms of Victarion Greyjoy, Danny needs ships. So what does he do? He introduces a character um, from the Ironborn side, and therefore connects the whole Euron thing to the to Danny, and maybe Euron is gonna be a problem in terms of the end game, and Danny obviously is an end game character. And then you add this character, write it through his POV, and get the ships there. I think those are the kind of things he does that not to add for the sake of adding, but to help himself get out of trouble. Progress. He adds them in order to progress the story. And I would not be surprised if I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get another character because we're at 22, I think, and Jesus, 2 more books, we have to kill some people. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Get
I
a
mean, I don't
strong
even
Belvas chapter.
necessarily think it's like I don't even necessarily think it's like the POVs he's adding to create lore. It's like a lot of them have reasons as to why they're there that make a lot of sense. I almost feel like it's more the content of certain chapters. Like Dance, I think, is the biggest offender of this, where you just have Tyrion chapters that almost feel specifically there to build out more of Essos, give us lore there when you don't need it. Like Tyrion is a character, in my opinion, who has a ton of chapters in Dance, but does not need them at all. Like he definitely could have been condensed. We didn't need all these travel chapters, especially when he gets to the Jorah section of the book. So,
Ghost just made a perfect
I kind of
comment.
agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. Quentin was a waste of time. Yeah,
Yep.
it's the anti-hero's journey thing. I totally agree. Yeah, yeah.
Adding
There's
another Daenerys lover character that wasn't needed.
Yeah, it's more like the typical, instead of the hero's journey, this was George R. R. Martin introducing his anti-hero journey, where he doesn't get the thing in the end and just gets barbecued.
That
It's
and the way of releasing the
classic
dragon.
Riverlands, certified Riverlands moment there.
Yep. Yep. Also, Ghost, I do want to reference this because I saw you put that out there. I would not write a good Dream of Spring book. I am not a writer. Like I can do like if you give me like a general like sense of where everything was going, maybe I could connect the dots, but I would not want to be the person specifically writing it.
Hmm.
And also, not a big fanfic person either. I've talked about this on Discord. I don't like doing fanfics.
Hmm.
There's no reason of me doing it when George R. Martin would just do it way better, and it's also his story. It's not mine, so just don't really feel like there's a point to it for me.
Except, of course, if Quentin survived and claimed the dragon. I mean, yeah. There's the theory out there, right? Very popular one too. But the thing is, I just don't see the point of Quentin being in the story much longer. Because it's so crowded in Marine already. And, you know, you have Victarion coming up. You have Tyrion and Jorah coming back. You have Dany at some point coming back. There's a lot. You guys purposely brought up Quentin to piss me off. Oh, is that a thing with your community? Huh?
I hate Quentin. Quentin is a terrible character.
Yeah.
Like he is not interesting. His chapters don't matter. The theory that he is alive, I think, is dumb. He has no purpose. There's no purpose for him to be alive. There's no reason he should be alive.
I don't know about dumb, but you know, these are the kind of theories that get us going. You know, it's very much in the community's hands. These are the kind of theories that, and if you watch Preston's video on it, I think he does a great job at explaining what he means and how he sees it. And fake out deaths are a part, are a thing in the Song of Ice and Fire more than once, more than twice. I just don't think it's for this particular character that, you know, we still need him. But man, maybe Winds of Winter is not out yet because Quentin conquers the world on Rhaegal.
God, if that ever happened, boy, would I have a House of the Dragon season 2 reaction to that book.
Grease the crew.
If Quentin is still alive, I will genuinely just be like, okay, well, that was pretty cheap. We have a fake out of him getting burnt alive, and then characters confirm that he got burnt alive, and then, well, I guess it just didn't happen. It didn't happen, guys. Don't worry, it didn't happen.
And that's the other thing. If he survived that, he's like toast. It's like SpongeBob, like the character in SpongeBob, the grandma.
Yeah.
On the wheelchair.
Agreed.
Not much to do now. Well, yeah. Anyway, Quentin could have been just another character from Dany's POV. But see, Dany is not even back yet. That's the thing.
Well, no, I think he's meaning more like in terms of a Dance with Dragons. Like Quentin could have just been a character we saw through other POVs.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
when he rocked up with Marine and then Barristan. Like you didn't really need Quentin all that much. Even though I think his last chapter, like I don't like Quentin's first 3, but I think his last one's solid. But
he fought. That's exactly the way Preston describes him in the fanfic. I haven't seen I actually haven't seen his fanfics yet. But again, I've distanced myself from any and all Song of Ice and Fire things for the last couple of months because I was burnt out. I was heavily burned out, and yeah,
having a Quentin moment, being burned out.
I was a certified Riverlands boy. Oh my god. The fucking Riverlands. Like what did they do to George? Like how did they deserve that? Like war exists. Riverlands. Like why?
They're in the middle, okay? It's just how it is, you know? Maybe if you're in Westeros, you should have chosen not to live in the Riverlands. Okay, but like, let's just think about this for a second. Let's just say, right? You know, you're like a couple years before the main story, Song of Ice and Fire takes place. Could you imagine? You're like, hey guys, I want to settle down in the Riverlands. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? You're like looking back, you're like, I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of wars that happen there, and you know, there's not a lot of protection if you do get attacked. Or the Riverlands are kind of one of the weaker kingdoms.
Bro, imagine,
but it's so close to everything.
You train your whole life, and then you get to be the squire of somebody, and some random hedge knight, was wandering around the west. I was wandering around. Sorry, I have to laugh already. I was wandering around Westeros, and then you choose to go to the Riverlands 2 days before Aemond is just gonna go ham.
That's a tough one. Riverland, 100%, Tom. Flea bottom.
Oh fuck yeah!
Protection.
Flea bottom. It's like everyone is fucking each other up and stuff. But like there's Riverlands, like they've done nothing to deserve that. Like nothing.
Riverland's getting burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, it just exists, and then
unless you're one of the lucky ones where Edmure lets you into the castle.
Like now I have become Death, Destroyer of Worlds, and it's just like a big ass dragon continuously roaming around the fucking thing. But that's the thing. That's a part that I'd like to see done faithfully. And
what, strafe runs on the Riverlands?
Aemond, yeah.
Oh boy.
It's not wrong to say that, like.
No. I love think it's funny. Euron. I just think it's I
love Euron for the way
you said it is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I love Euron for his just fucked up personality. The same way in which I enjoy good villains. I love me a good villain, and yeah.
I agree. I agree. I mean, just put it in this way though, Ricky. Like, say you just entered the stream, and the first thing you heard was, "Yeah, I want to see the Riverlands basically get burned."
I'm sorry, but I do. Like I don't care. I don't care, man. It's let's put it this way.
Imagine Maegor, Ricky.
Maegor, the Cruel.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a Maegor fanboy. Like I get that whole thing.
Maegor
he was like, I get that whole thing of like he saved House Targaryen in a way that's like an interesting.
He's still
thing.
A bad guy.
But it's completely your thing to be like, yeah, Maegor best king and shit like this. Like, bro, he's not the best king. Like, what are you talking about?
Ricky, it's a little bit of trolling, you see.
Okay.
Believe he's the best king. Like,
yeah, because he's an atrocious king.
Aemond? Huh? What you're saying about Aemond is basically my thoughts on Maegor.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. They should do a series about Maegor.
Maegor, in the beginning, was not as bad as he's made out to be. It's Maester propaganda.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, he wasn't so good.
I hope so. That that's the thing. In season 1 of House of the Dragon, there was so much focus on the Maesters and the connection to Otto, and it was always weird. And we talked about the Maester conspiracy, and that just dropped. And I don't think we'll ever talk about that again. So instead of, Nettles, Nettles running around the well. That was not Nettles, that was Rhaena. Haha. Fuck's sake. Instead of Rhaena, instead of having 700 fucking shots of Rhaena roaming around the well, we could have fucking seen Oldtown and Hobart Hightower there. Is he still alive, Hobart? Think so, because they never introduced a Lord of the Lord of Hightower that's nameless in the book, so probably just Hobart. And we could have seen Oldtown and glass candles and Maester propaganda, and then prepping for the storming of the Dragon Pit, and then you're left to wonder what's gonna happen next. But instead we got fuck ass White Walkers, and jeez. Thanks. Now I'm thinking about the endless possibilities that were there. I hate it.
I will say, season 1, we did get a little bit of Maester conspiracy stuff, but we didn't get a lot of it. Like, a lot of the big points that you think about with the Maester conspiracy wasn't in season 1. Like, a lot of the things that you look at for the Maester conspiracy is like Laenor and Rhaenyra's basically betrothal. When Luke goes with his proposal to Lord Baratheon because he has to have a Maester read it. Like, a lot of the Maester conspiracy stuff that are like the major ones aren't even in the show, but that's fine. I didn't really expect that to be in the show, to be honest. So the little bits we got of it, I was pretty happy to see. So
yeah, but it got us talking about just much more interesting things. You know, like now we're talking about the blue guy again.
Yeah.
Like cool, woo, CGI, Marvel,
Yeah.
big cameo, woo. Like,
And that'd be the beauty of a Magor and Annie show. That's kind of where, in my opinion, that's where the Maester conspiracy starts. Like, yes, there's propaganda and stuff with like Aegon and all that, but like it really starts with like Annie's. So,
bro, we should do a whole show about the White Walkers invading the Riverlands.
that's the one thing that got saved from in the show. They didn't get invaded by the White Walkers.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in the books, not looking so good.
I rather be at the. This is from Ghost T. I'd rather be at the wall than the Riverlands or the Triarchy. If they would have sent Thailand or Otto at the beginning of the season and build up that plot to make it make more sense in the end. I mean, I was actually very fine with the Triarchy stuff. I think Lohar is pretty cool.
I think it would have been more natural if they would have done it that way, but it's like it's not something that I think was a big problem of the show. Like,
you know what
it
feels like?
It's like, eh.
It feels like it was added in the end there, and they probably had a script for 10 episodes, and Zaslav went fuck no, and then they had to cut it out, and then they just put it there. But it feels like a episode 3 kind of thing, like a separate scene that is there.
Doesn't feel like a finale type of plot line.
Yeah, and then at the end there where they're leaving, they're on the ship. That's there's something in between that just got cut.
Agreed. The real question is, Ricky, though, would you rather be at the wall or the Riverlands?
Again, if you're looking to have a blast, you just gotta, stay true to the Riverlands.
True. I mean, going to the wall,
that's a
tough one, man.
I mean, it's straight fire.
Hey, you might have a short, lifespan at the Riverlands, but hey, it's a pretty cool time while you're there.
I mean, imagine barbecue at the Riverlands with the whole family. That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. I mean, and then, you're cooking up, grilling some meat, and then you just see the mountain, right in the backyard, and then boom, you're dead.
Oh, jeez.
Or maybe, I guess, if you're I don't even know if you would consider this lucky. I'd probably say it's better if you die. Maybe you get captured, taken to Harrenhal. That's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Get all your shit taken. All your family's dead. You're now basically a servant. So,
did you ever play CK3 AGOT?
No, I did not.
It's so fucking good. I watched. That's one thing I did watch during the last couple of weeks, as I was slowly, because as we were planning, this whole monthly live thing now. I kind of went back to the A Song of Ice and Fire Circle for a while, and I watched Fantasy Haven's videos on it. And holy shit, I had to download it right after it. And I'm not much of a strategy game guy, but just, clicking through the map and fucking up the history. Like, I started playing as Tywin, and I immediately wed Jaime to Lyanna. And just it's so funny. Like, I remember I had a different, like, I remarried as Tywin, and then Cersei started having sex with the daughter of Tywin and stuff. So there is an option to keep it canonical, but the outcomes are unclear, and it's so funny how that whole shit just turns to shit. It's glorious. Yeah.
Hell yeah! I can go back as Magor and take over.
I don't think you can.
Lives a couple more years.
I don't think you can.
Oh,
I don't think you can. But
what a shame! What a shame! What a shame!
But it's great. You should play it. We should play it together. Do Bobby B's Rebellion.
I would, but it's a lot of, like, I gotta figure out how the game works and all that stuff.
But you just have to get through it for like an hour. See, I'm not a gamer at all. I've never been a gamer or much of a gamer. Last game that really did something for me was Witcher 3. And this game, like, it takes an hour. It takes an hour until you get like everything, but when you do, so great.
Okay. So you're gonna play House Baratheon?
No,
In
just a
Robert's
random
Run?
Riverlands guy. Again, I want to have a blast. Just kidding. No, you can play as whoever you want. I had one playthrough as a made up Valarian and tried to,
Okay.
set that up.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can in the
Okay.
future. Mega bookmark is coming eventually. See, like the depths on that. Like
Hell
you
yeah.
also gotta keep in mind those are like they are not getting paid for that or anything. I assume they're
Yeah.
just
Probably not.
it's a mod, and the stuff that you can do there is, phew, it's crazy. It's
Is there
crazy.
dragons in this mod? Can you
Yeah,
can you have Daenerys? Oh
yeah.
hell yeah.
You can do the Dance of the Dragons.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna play as the Mad King Eris, and then I'm gonna put this rebellion down. No more rebellions
You can.
because these people be killing everybody. Okay, this guy Robert, he's a warmongering guy.
I
The
mean,
the Stannis guy, he's gonna stay loyal this time.
any and all Bobby B's Rebellion playthroughs that I had so far always had Ares winning.
That's
And I
right.
think that's so cool. It is cool because if you're on his side, you can then try to backstab him, do a little treason arc, and then have him murdered. And then if you have your daughter um, married to Rhaegar, that's pretty cool. Like it's awesome. And the most fun I'm
Pretty
having
cool.
with it is just roaming around the map and looking at the characters and stuff. I will not tolerate Bobby B slander.
Well, I'm just trolling a little bit. I'm just trolling. Okay, I obviously don't like the Mad King Eris over Robert, or do I?
Hmm.
Maybe I'm a Targaryen loyalist. I do like the Targaryens. They are my favorite house. Them and the Baratheons. That's kind of a tough one.
Well, what about those banners in the back then?
Well, you see, these all came in a 3-pack at Walmart.
Uh-huh.
Baratheon's one got shafted, but I got Stannis' one up, even though he's taken a tumble a couple times. He doesn't like to stick to that wall. The Blackfires are also represented, but they're on a hiatus.
Hmm.
We're in between rebellions.
I'm something of a troll myself. Very well,
Really,
very well.
really, Willem. Hit us with some troll stuff.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much all that we wanted to discuss for the very first episode. The next one is definitely going to be focusing on A Song of Ice and Fire. So book content from here on out. Again, I don't want to set up my mic and talk about House of the Dragon and spoil your enjoyment or whatever. It's something that I'm done with, sort of. I will watch season 3, of course. I'm not gonna review it. I'm probably gonna talk to you about it. And that's it. That is it. Next time we're gonna see each other, it's gonna be about what should our next stream be about?
You mentioned this before. I feel like this would be a good one. We do maybe either ranking or talking about some of the most popular theories in the community.
Ooh, yeah, popular and and the dumbest theories. Let's do that.
Yeah.
The best and worst theories. Let's do a whole stream for that.
Okay, what clarifies as best and worst? Are we talking about like most realistic?
Just what you think is interesting, even if it's wrong.
Okay.
For example, like for the worst theory is something like Tywin is the Dusky Woman, or stuff like that. It's what it's.
That's a theory.
It is actually.
That's a theory. That's all I can say. That's a theory.
Don't tell me you've never heard about that theory.
No.
It actually is a theory. Tywin is the Dusky Woman.
I'll reiterate that's a theory.
Yeah.
I don't need any more information, but that's
Okay,
a
okay.
theory.
Let's all save it for the next episode.
Yeah.
These are gonna be so they are going to be monthly, so we are gonna be back in February. But I can't yet say on which dates because I have a lot of theater to do. There's the next play coming up, and we're slowly in pre-production for the next short film of mine. So these are always quite spontaneous. But that will change once, you know. This is a year of change for me. A lot of things are gonna change this year for me in my private life, and once I've got that all figured out, I will be on here much more often. And then it might even that for Duncan Egg, I imagine we could do it weekly again and stuff like that. But yeah, always awesome to have you on, Eric. Looking forward to the future of this thing here.
I enjoy spitting more water into the camera on stream.
I gotta rewatch
really
that.
Really adds to the content.
Yeah.
It will be.
Eric is the Squisher King.
Hey. You know, that's just how it is.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a good one and see us later.
Bye, guys.